You're my favorite, but we're phasing. You're my favorite, but we're phasing. You're my favorite, but we're phasing. You're my favorite, you're my. Is there something to break about? Is this just broken bond? Is there nothing to shake this heart? Is this just a breakup from
Yo,
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
what's up?
Man, it's come full circle here. Nearly back to where we were Tuesday.
Yeah, as is a lot of times.
Yeah, it's funny. I was on the bench on Tuesday. Sorry, yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, and those used to give me those kind of days used to give me that sensation of I'm never gonna get to trade again. This is the last fail breakdown that's ever going to happen, but you only need to wait a day or two, and it all comes
Yeah,
back around
yeah.
again.
Yup, 100%. There's always opportunities. So even me yesterday, I had to end up closing out that 10% runner, and I was like, damn. But then I remembered, I was like, the chances that this runner is going to cash is probably minuscule, which it didn't end up cashing even if you held it. So
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
like, yeah,
from the
whatever.
from the 93, you're talking about not your monster
Yeah,
runner. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the 92 failed breakdown. I ended up having to close the 10% yesterday because if I held it below 70, it would
yeah.
have essentially just scratched the trade out. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, I don't want to do that. So I had to cut it. And then we ran up to like 69.20. And I was like, maybe I should have held it. But then, you have to always remember is like those rarely ever cash out. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you essentially need a day up of continuation after for it to really trail your stop up to. Otherwise, I mean, they're just, they don't really cash out. They kind of just sit there and eventually get trailed out.
Right. Yeah, especially if, I mean, of course, if you're using the prior day low as your trailing stop methodology. Um, yeah, I was similar on that. I took that trade twice, both small size because I'd eaten a loss in the morning, and so with those, I was actually just cutting my runners break even, so I didn't have anything. And my on my second trade, it came back and touched break even after pretty early on in that, way before it got back up to 20. So yeah, I'm flat here at the moment, but we do have a few good levels beneath. Just quickly touching on, the bigger picture. So obviously yesterday we or the day before that rather, we broke out above this range that we've been in for the last week or so. The range being 68.49 to 69.25, 30-ish. So we've been in this for a good amount of time, broke out above it, and then failed back into it. Came back to back test the top of the range yesterday afternoon, and we've since made our way back down to range support. So that gives us some good potential ground to work with, fertile territory for failed breakdowns. But we just need to be a little bit careful here with, we are well below the bear case line. I think Adam's tweet this morning was something to the effect of 68.99 needs to recover to see a sustained move up, and that's quite a bit above us now. Let me just bring up that tweet. It's down here. Yeah, bulls want to recover. Well, firstly, yesterday's 68.70 daily low to see it pop up the levels. So yeah, that's the first level on watch. Presuming the sell-off has been partly triggered, PPI came in quite hot. No surprise, you keep printing money. That's what's going to happen, but apparently they haven't figured it out yet. So down we go. There was also someone shared a tweet about, which company was that? Some company laid off half of its employees, 6,000 employees. Was it Block or something? I can't remember. Not sure if you saw that tweet.
No, I did not.
I thought that was potentially what triggered the sell off the in the close and off the open yesterday.
Yeah, no idea. I don't really, unless it's a big kind of major news cycle. I don't pay a ton of attention to what's going on intraday.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I was just reading one of the chats. Bryce maybe got involved at 25:30 with me yesterday. And by the sounds of it, he's ruining that decision and kind of slapping himself in the head. Yeah, exactly the same thing at 69, 25, 30. I got involved in that. Did my recap on that. If you didn't watch it, real quick summary. We'd lost the 69, 45, 44 shelf there, and really that was the breakdown level. So that's the level, maybe potentially shorts were really piling in. 69.30 was really just to 25 was just a back test of the range support. But in popping above 69.30, I mean, you put it nicely yesterday. It's like in that position, what mindset are the shorts in? Are they sweating it? Are they worried? And that small bounce from 25 to 30 to 33? No, not at all. They'd piled in. Majority of them would have been in from higher, not going to be phased at all by a 7-point bounce there. So yeah, I was really thinking about that and what you said yesterday, and just trying to put myself in the perspective of the shorts there. And that's the whole idea behind the process of acceptance, is like through these bounces and the attempts to sell, like, is this starting to make the shorts cover? Is this starting to make shorts feel uneasy and uncomfortable and want to get out of their positions? And, looking at the action around 69, 25, 30 yesterday, there was no way they would have been worried in any way, shape or form. Small bounce and then just chop around the 69.30 level. So yeah, from a sort of market psychology perspective, that was an area I just should have stayed well away from. But if you didn't see it, you can go back and watch that trade recap and see kind of the dissection of that. I did get together with a couple other folks in the group and kind of got their thoughts on it, and that's a compilation of those. Anyway, so not to dwell on that, let's get into the plan for today. So big one above 68.70. How do you like this?
Yeah, I mean, if it triggers, it should be good, but nothing of the sort yet to trigger it. But I'll definitely, that is definitely the top watch because below here, there's nothing really that I'm eyeing for quite a bit. I mean, the next thing below us to me is 68.28. So nothing really I'm interested between here and there. So, a good 30 plus points of white space for me. So if we sell below here, you also have to keep in mind, I did post a photo of this in the Discord, but below 68.70 here, the sell algo is presumably on, as we've now officially invalidated that 68.92 failed breakdown from yesterday. So, keep in mind that sell algo will be on. So you have to expect all pops to be sold off until it's turned off. So, be a little wary of that. I think the other big theme of this week is also, which I mean, it's been longer than a week, but we've definitely talked about it quite a bit this week. Has just been, and Adam actually had a good tweet about this yesterday, which is, acceptance is a precondition, right? But you still need to see some sort of momentum through the level to go long. Just because there's acceptance, that doesn't mean you just insta buy a level. You still need to see momentum. And this kind of harkens back to the same thing we talked about a few days ago, which is a lot of this methodology and really what it takes to understand this and be really well skilled has to do understanding the relationship between volatility and momentum. If you can just avoid the ones that have no momentum, volatility is dead, and just take the ones where we're kind of ripping with ease and there's good volatility, that right there will be a big separator between you taking the ones that don't work versus taking the ones that do work. So that is just kind of another thing to be aware of. But yeah, for myself, 68.70 and 68.28 are the top watches of the day.
Yeah. And that's part of the advantage of waiting for the danger zone to clear, because it's pretty hard to judge that momentum pushing above the level and simultaneously getting in, 1 or 2 points above the level, to kind of witness that momentum. It really needs to be pushing away. I mean, I would say perhaps with the exception of type 1 acceptance, because you've kind of dipped further. So like this example here, 68.70, we've come 20 points off we've flushed down 20 points. So there's ample space now for us to return to the level, and we've already done it once. I'm on a 30-minute chart. Let me dip down a little bit to 5-minute here. Yeah, so you can see, we flushed 20 points, dipped, returned, and now if we start pushing back up, maybe one smaller dip here and push through with type 1 acceptance, for me, I prefer to get in pretty close to the level. I'm not sure Adam would necessarily agree with that, so that's just my take on it. But when the acceptance is clear and we get a nice strong candle coming through the level, you've just got the space here with these deeper flushes to both read type 1 acceptance and then see a more of a strong push through the level. But yeah, like you say, the sell algo turned on somewhere up here, probably at 68.99 or the century figure. So, you would have that headwind against us. So, no one down here is going to be, no shorts down here are going to be sweating their entries from 6,900 if we lift above that. So, but yeah, that's the real trick to this strategy, isn't it? Being able to read the volatility state in real time, and finding those Goldilocks zones. For me, if it's too hot or it's too cold, those are where I suffer. And yesterday's at 69.25, 69.30. I don't know if you noticed, but the sell into that level, despite it moving 30 points in 30 minutes, it was very kind of choppy and grindy and slow and methodical. It wasn't really the slow, scary rip that you like to see. So anyway, sorry, we're rambling a little bit. Trade plan 68.70 above if we can kind of hold here. So for that, I don't think you'd really want to see it go much lower than where we are now. We're right at these two kind of bonus tag levels, 55 and 61 at the moment. So if we can lift from here off the open and get above, that's the first potential entry with some type 1 acceptance most likely on that one. And then beneath, if we flush, we're looking down to, this is Tuesday's low at 68.28. So another big level there, but we're coming quite a ways, so definitely don't want to rush too much into those. Unless we get one of those micro flush NAP triggers that I keep missing. But yeah, that's a different story. And then beneath that, we've got the prior week's low, which is down at 67.90, which was the previous Tuesday's low, I believe. So some pretty big levels. We kind of got the intermediate range support and then the outside range support here. So pretty clear trade plan, I'd say. 68.70, 28, and 67.90. Let's watch out for those and see what the open brings. Any closing
sounds good
on that?
No, pretty simple. I mean, friendly reminder as always, it's Friday, so if you're up nice green for the week, make sure you protect those profits. And if you're not green for the week, then make sure you don't try to dig yourself into a deeper hole trying to get it all back on a Friday as well. So just trade safe, trade smart, and we'll see what we get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a little bit red on the week personally, full disclosure, but I'll probably just size down a little bit today. I don't like to ruin my weekend on a Friday, and I tend to kind of pack things up about midday Friday regardless of what's going on. I never really feel like Friday afternoons are a good time to be trying to trigger a long ahead of a weekend, especially with all the current geopolitical risk. Anything can happen in those 2 days.
Yeah, I'm with you. I usually try to pack it up by noon on Friday, so we'll see. Hopefully we get something here in the next couple hours.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks everyone. I will catch you in the Discord. Anyone wants to hang out in chat, as always, in voice, more than happy to do that and just chew the fat. If not, we'll see ya. Be safe. Bye. All right.